when I put those question marks on. Woo. I'll throw a lasso around the moon for you. So I wonder if this is as good as it gets or not. We've had this high come in here, and no doubt it was a bearishly divergent high. Yep, and like we've seen elsewhere, and no doubt in a smaller term time frame I could find some sort of little inflection in around about these zones. Maybe it's just as this one which we took out with this down, and then of course as well we've got this downward structure with the recent movements in terms of something like the 1 hour time frame, this downwardness here. But all of that is just giving you, sort of getting in your way of saying that overall things have been doing really well for a really long time here with this coin. It's a fantastic one. It's done really well, and everybody should, you know, be aware of its existence. And if we were to take out our previous highs, then of course we've got further targets towards the top side. Coming in with them at the minute in terms of just one way of doing it easily enough is just to look up towards where the 1618 is. That's at $248 from the Fibonacci. If you draw it in from the 19th of January high down to the recent low that we had just there with that correction there last night, up to where we are now, moving on past the 100% zone, i.e. taking out our previous high at 210, takes us up towards a potential target of 248. Of course, that's all-time highs and everything else on this one, so that would be what I'd be looking at on it. Now, failure to do so really needs to be examined in clarity as well. We can see here that this is clearly, you know, you've got this some people actually do this in seriousness all the time, like you've got a rectangle top here. It's not really, in fact that's the wrong area, like over here. It's not really for us quite anything of note yet, as we know from previous experience, in that the key area for us is, while we got down as low as 147, we didn't take out the key areas of, let's call the key area 140 for us at the minute on that. So let's just say somewhere in around about there's your shit history. No, where's your, I thought Alt H gave me a horizontal line, but it's not working for me. Whatever. There's your, aye, Alt H. Well, has my keyboard just gone off? Might just have done that thing that it's done. That's what we'll be looking at in terms of staying above, and this obviously is the sort of, let's just stick it in there at the wick. Then you've got the target at 248 and around a bit there. However, we probably need to bear in mind that this median line of this thing is going to be important for us, so I'll just put a parallel channel here in the background to draw that in for us in a second or two. And then the 618, of course, is going to be that real zone for us in terms of danger, high voltage. So I'll make that a red box, and I'll take this off. So this is, you know, again, when I talk about how you can use, how I'm not Mr. Fibonacci, but I always seem to use them on the channel and whatever else, is no small part a function of being able to visually describe things to people in a way that makes a good deal of sense without having to reach too far to do so. But you can see this all kind of in action here as we draw out the key areas anyway, to come up with significant sort of zones for us. And that's a better description, instead of just saying we've got a rectangle top at the minute. So let's give this top line, in fact, well, no, that's that area there. There's more probably context to put on here for us. Another, just, yep, so that ties in perfectly. So that is going to be our target for us. What about I don't really like moves that where you're looking back over the period of a whole year, etc. But it doesn't really work for me, that type of thing. But there's other ideas that are maybe worth exploring in that nature. Just to look back historically, see how we did overall. Oh, we beat that by a big chunk. That's crap anyway. Yeah, whatever. There's what's the actual realistic value of any of these coins as well? I don't really know what the tokenomics are behind them. You know, I don't know how they justify, so to speak, their prices. I mean, Bitcoin doesn't have to. It's purely speculative. Ethereum is essentially the new word for guais. I mean, Ethereum is gas. It's what it is. That's so there you go. That's your justification for its price, based off of its network activity, essentially. You know, what are the justifications for a lot of these other ones? It's hard to say. When it comes to things like these DeFi coins, they really should have that kind of figured out already. So yeah, I'll just leave it like that for now. That's cool to that this is a coin that could go places, and that's a massive move up if we do get that move, which would be nice to see. Is this looking a little bit more concerning than the previous ones? Well, yes, it's got a clear, distinct downward aspect to this zone here. So this is why we can put extra importance on breaking these and then revisiting and asking, are we seeing the divergences on here or not? The divergence, which, you know, essentially did take out this previous low as well. Oh gosh, whatever. That's enough on that one. Maybe instead I could just sort of freshen things up a bit by putting more emphasis on some other indicators for a while. So the potential for hidden bullish divergence here is very real, as we can see on that point just there, tying in with this here on the MACD. There is a cross here on the no sure thing indicator, as we've also seen a cross the other direction on the. By the way, I'm tuning out soon. I'm kind of dragging this out in a sense, haven't I? I should just finish it off. Seen a positive cross up the way here on the stochastics at the neutral line. Well, we've seen a cross here on the no sure thing. Are we going to see this failure or not? This is a pretty good analog for the market. I mean, at the minute the upward trend is there. This has been a very good recovery, and that's why we're seeing the stochastics having crossed back round again. Need to look to structure. Over here, we haven't seen a downward movement in the last couple of days here, which is really taking out some key areas which we haven't really done along the way so far. We did a little bit, for instance, over here, etc., but we've not been doing, not had much downward trend in action during these pullbacks. It's mostly just been shocks and then recoveries immediately, whereas we had a couple of downward movements with a bearishly divergent high. So there's that area to be concerned about. This is your fake out zone below any movements down the way down to that 146 area, offering up decent buys with that hidden bullish divergence coming in there and possibly painting a more rosy picture in the face of this potential turnaround. Of course, if we do see it continue down the way and we don't take out the structure that we just looked to off the back of the stochastics, then we can revisit this idea here where we are seeing this, of course, showing us a turnaround there on that one. Now, are these potential sort of, in a sense, false signals at times? Well, we've not really had much of a cross in the past here, which has then been false. Could this be the first one in its history? It could be. If we see movements down the way, then I'm certainly keeping an eye out at 170, 147, and 117. All of those offering up, depending on how the trend's looking at that point, very, very, very good opportunities for managing your trades and your risk and all that in those zones. By the way, if you're just joining us, give me a wee mention in the chat box. Say hello. I'll say hello back to you. Good to see you there, Leonardo Pinto. What's the best soundtrack to trade to? What's the best soundtrack to trade to? I wonder. I've never been a massive listen to music and work at the same time person. It's too often get into it a bit